Hello, my friend. I am so happy you are here. Today, I want to tell you a story that may change something inside you. It is a story about fear and hope, about learning English and growing strong. It is about one small choice that changed everything. Maybe you feel nervous when you speak English. Maybe you feel like you are not good enough, not fast enough, not strong enough to continue. But I want you to listen carefully. This story is for you. It is not about someone perfect. It is about someone just like you. You will hear how one decision, just one small step, can open a new world. A world where you feel free to speak. While you listen, you will learn new words, feel real emotions, and grow with every sentence. You will improve your English and your life. Now, take a deep breath. Relax. Listen closely, because this is the day everything changed. Her name is Lani. She is 28 years old. She works at a small cafe in the city and lives in a small apartment alone. Every morning, she makes coffee, serves food, and cleans tables. She smiles at customers but doesn't say much beyond simple greetings. She wears the same black shirt every day. Her shoes are old, but they are comfortable. Her life is quiet, simple, and predictable. She does not talk much at work. She says, "Good morning. How are you? Thank you. And sometimes, see you tomorrow." Nothing more than that. After work, she walks home alone. Her apartment is small. Her fridge is small. Her room is clean, but often very quiet and still. She usually eats noodles or rice with eggs. She eats slowly while watching YouTube videos on her old phone with a cracked screen. She likes watching travel vlogs, cooking shows, and English videos. She watches with subtitles. She listens closely, but understands only half of what they say. She always puts English subtitles on. She pauses the video many times. She repeats the sentences slowly, trying to understand every single word. She thinks, I want to speak like that. I want to understand everything. I want to talk to people from other places. But she is afraid. She remembers her school days. She remembers the time her teacher laughed when she made a small mistake in class. One teacher told her, "You are too slow." Another one said, "Your English is bad." That voice stayed in her head for many years. So she stopped trying. She told herself, English is not for me. She stopped raising her hand. She stopped believing she could improve. But the dream never died. It was small, quiet, and hidden, but still there. She wanted more, not just English. She wanted freedom in life. One Friday night, Lani walked past a group of tourists outside her cafe. They looked confused. One woman asked, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" Lani wanted to help. She saw the map in the woman's hand. She heard the worry in her voice. But her mouth didn't move. She smiled politely and walked away. 10 steps later, she stopped. Her face felt warm. Her heart was beating fast in her chest. She sat on a bench and whispered, "Why am I still afraid?" She looked up at the sky and thought deeply about her whole life. Always working, always watching, always waiting, but never trying. She was tired of waiting. She wanted something to change, but she didn't know how. She took out her phone and opened the Notes app. She typed one sentence, "I will speak English before I turn 30. Then she saved it. Her hands were shaking, but something felt different. That night, she could not sleep. The words repeated in her head like a quiet song. "I will speak English before I turn 30. It was simple, but it meant something big. It was the first promise she made to herself. She got out of bed. She sat at her table. She opened YouTube and searched how to learn English alone at home every day. She clicked the first video. A man was speaking slowly. He smiled and said, "Talk to yourself in English. Every day, just 5 minutes." He said, "You do not need a teacher. You do not need a big plan. You just need to start. Start today. Start small." Lani paused the video. She whispered to herself, "Talk to myself." It sounded strange, but also something inside her said, "Try it. Just try." She stood up, walked to the mirror, looked into her eyes, and said, "Hello, my name is Lani. I work in a cafe." Then she said, "I like books. I live alone. I want to speak English well." She laughed. It felt strange, but also good inside. The next morning, she tried again. She added more. "My name is Lani. I live in the city. I work hard. I want to learn." She repeated it 3 times. She smiled at herself. For the first time, she felt like she was not just dreaming, she was doing something real. From that day, she made a new habit. Every morning after brushing her teeth, she spoke 5 sentences in English while looking in the mirror. Some days, it was hard. Some days, her voice was soft and unsure. But she did not stop. She kept going every single morning. She bought a small notebook. She wrote down her mirror sentences. She added new words each week and circled the ones she didn't understand. She used Google Translate to learn meanings. She copied down example sentences. She kept her notebook in her bag and took it everywhere she went. 1 week passed. 2 weeks. 3. Her sentences became longer. "I am tired today, but I will try. I am learning. I will not give up." Sometimes her voice was strong. Sometimes her voice shook. But her words were true. She believed in them, even when they felt hard to say. One day, her coworker asked, "Are you talking to yourself in English?" Lani smiled and said, "Yes, I want to learn." Her voice was clear. Her coworker laughed kindly. "Good luck. English is hard." Lani nodded. But inside, she whispered, "Yes, it's hard, but I am harder than that." That night, she wrote that in her notebook, "English is hard, but I am harder." She underlined it twice with her blue pen, and that was the beginning. Not big, not fast, but real. That was the first step on the path that changed everything for her. The next week, Lani made a daily plan. Every morning, 5 minutes of mirror speaking. Every night, 5 minutes of video listening and writing. She told herself, no pressure, just small steps. She believed if she showed up every day, something would change, even if it was slow. She made a rule: no missing 2 days in a row. If she skipped one day, she had to return the next. That helped her stay on track. Sometimes she felt strong. Sometimes she felt lost. One day, she spoke 10 minutes. Another day, she could not say even one full sentence. She felt frustrated when her tongue stopped moving, when her brain forgot simple words, when nothing came out. But she kept trying. One more day. One night, she saw a new video: learn English through self-talk. Speak even if you're alone. She clicked it. The speaker talked gently. He said, "You already think in your language. Now think in English. Say what you see, what you feel, what you do. Start with the now." Lani paused the video. She looked at her notebook. Then she looked at her table. She said aloud, "This is my notebook. I write here." She looked at her hands. She said, "My hands are cold. I want tea. I will boil water and drink hot tea with milk." It felt silly, but also helpful. She spoke what she saw, what she felt, what she did. It gave her real words for daily life. She called it her kitchen English. When cooking, I cut the onion. I turn on the fire. I mix the eggs, and the pan is hot. When cleaning, I wash the cup. I dry the spoon. I open the window. The air is fresh. These words became real, alive, useful. Some phrases she said again and again. I am tired, but I try. I don't know this word, but I will find it. One more time, she started recording her voice. She used a voice app on her phone. Each night, she listened to how she sounded. It was strange at first. She heard every mistake, every pause, every soft whisper. But she also heard something new, her own effort, her own courage, trying again and again. After 2 weeks, she looked at her notebook. There were more than 50 short sentences. She added drawings and colors. It felt like a story. Story, her voice on paper. One day, she walked into the kitchen and said, "Good morning. Fridge, I know what's inside you today." She laughed alone, but her fear of speaking began to disappear. It was still there, but smaller, like a shadow, not like a wall anymore. One Sunday afternoon, she decided to watch a movie, no subtitles. Just listen. She chose a romantic movie with simple dialogues and clear voices. The first 5 minutes were hard. She paused many times, but she kept going. She guessed the meaning. She used her ears, not just her eyes. She didn't understand everything, but she caught some phrases. "You look tired. Are you okay? Come here." These were small wins, but they felt big. She started repeating lines from the movie. She paused the video, said the line 3 times, then continued. She called this her movie talk. She practiced that method again the next day. Then again, she learned to listen, repeat, and feel the rhythm, even if the meaning wasn't perfect. Some nights she felt like a child learning to speak again, but she also felt alive. Her mind was learning. Her tongue was moving. She did not tell anyone about her self-talk practice. It was her secret space, her private world where mistakes were safe and effort was enough. But even with small progress, some days felt heavy. There were moments she thought, "Why do I try? I will never speak like them." One day, after a long shift, she sat in silence. Her voice was tired. Her brain felt slow. She opened her notebook, but wrote nothing. She stared at the page. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Still nothing. Her eyes burned. Her chest felt heavy. She wanted to give up. She closed her notebook. She looked at her mirror, but this time, she did not speak. She just sat there, looking at her own face. She whispered, "I don't know if I can do this." The fear returned. The old voice said, "You are too slow." The old pain returned. She turned off the light, sat in darkness. But even in the dark, her small voice said, "Try tomorrow. Just try again. One more day." The next morning, she woke up early, still tired, but with a small voice saying, "Try." She opened her notebook. She read one old sentence. It said, "English is hard, but I am harder." She smiled. That line came from her heart. It still felt true. She stood in front of the mirror. She spoke softly, "I am tired, but I try. I am slow, but I walk. I am learning." And just like that, the fear moved back again. It didn't leave, but it stepped aside. Her courage, even small, stood in front again. That week, she created new sentences for herself. "Today is a new start. Mistakes help me grow. I am not fast, but I do not stop." She began to enjoy the feeling of speaking. She looked at her kitchen and said, "Good morning, my little English classroom." Her world became her teacher. Everything became a chance to speak washing dishes, brushing teeth, walking down the stairs. She turned life into language, her world into words. This was not school. No pressure, no tests, no shame. Just her and her words. And day by day, the words became hers. One morning, while making breakfast, Lani said out loud, "Today I will speak more English than yesterday." She smiled. It became her new rule. She added one more habit after speaking to herself. She repeated the same sentences, but tried to say them a little faster each time. She looked in the mirror and said, "I believe in small steps. I believe in myself. I will speak clearly, even if it's slow." One day, she heard a video say the word shadowing. She searched it. Repeat what you hear, same speed, same rhythm, same voice. The video said, she thought, "I already repeat lines from movies. Maybe this is the next step." So she played a short English podcast and listened closely. She put on her headphones, walked in circles around her room, and repeated every sentence out loud with the speaker. Even if it felt strange, at first, she could not keep up. Her tongue got confused. Her brain moved slower than the voice. She paused often, but she kept going. Each morning, she listened to the same 2-minute audio again and again. "Hi, I'm John. I live in Canada. I love cooking." She copied it. She said it fast. She said it slow. She said it in her own voice. She said it like the speaker. She played with sounds. After 5 days, she could say the whole clip with the speaker, no pause, no stop. She smiled and said, "I did it. I did it." She started using the same method with short videos. First, she wrote the script in her notebook. Then she shadowed the video line by line. One video was about food, another about travel, one about fear. She repeated lines like, "I was scared, but I did it anyway." Every day, her notebook grew. New words, new lines, notes about rhythm and emotion. She began to feel the music in English, not just words. One evening, she heard 2 tourists asking for directions outside her cafe. She walked toward them. Her heart beat fast. Her hands felt cold. The man asked, "Excuse me, is there a pharmacy nearby?" She took a deep breath and said, "Yes. Walk straight, then turn right. It's very close." They smiled and said, "Thank you." She said, "You're welcome." Then she walked away, heart racing. When she turned the corner, she laughed out loud. She whispered, "I did it. I just helped someone in English that night." She wrote the whole conversation in her notebook 3 times with big letters. She drew a star next to it. It was her first real conversation in English. Not in her room, not in her mirror, but real life. After that moment, something changed inside her. She felt proud, not perfect, but proud. She proved to herself, "I can speak. I can try." She started adding new practice methods. One of them was called the 3-pass method. First, watch a video with subtitles. Second, watch again without subtitles. Third, speak with the video and copy everything. It helped her understand faster, remember more, and feel connected to the speaker. She used this daily. She chose short, emotional videos. She liked slow stories, deep voices, and kind energy. She listened to each one 3 times with total focus and care. Each week, she chose a theme family: dreams, fear, food. She learned 20 new words per week, but repeated the old ones every day. She created her own sentences using new words. For example, dream became I have a dream to travel. Then I dream of speaking English in London. Her confidence grew. One day, her coworker said, "Your English is better now." Lani smiled and said, "Thank you. I practice every morning." Her coworker said, "You're brave," Lani said. "No, I'm consistent." She laughed. But inside, she knew it was true. She didn't stop no matter how small the step. She started watching full movies again, this time with no subtitles. She understood the tone, the emotions, the message even without catching every single word. She noticed how people spoke with their faces, not just mouths. She listened to silence, to pauses, to emotions in the speaker's voice. She started talking back to the screen. "What do you mean? Don't go there." "I agree with you. It felt like a game, but also practice." One day, she visited the bookstore and saw a short book with easy English. The title said, "My First English Story, Graded Reader A2." She opened it. The first page said, "My name is Anna. I live in Brazil. I work in a market." Lani smiled and whispered, "Hello, Anna." She bought the book and read one page every morning. She underlined words. She repeated the lines. She imagined Anna as her new friend. She read with her heart, slowly, deeply, clearly. That small book became her teacher. That character became her classmate. That story became part of her. She created a voice for Anna. She said Anna's lines in a Brazilian accent, then said her own responses. She called it story conversation. After 3 weeks, she finished the book. She felt strong, not perfect, not fluent, but different, more open, more brave, more ready. She looked back at her notebook. It was full. Her old sentences looked like seeds. Her new ones looked like flowers. It was a garden now. She smiled and whispered, "I am growing." Then she added one more sentence to the last page. "I am becoming the person I dreamed of." One rainy Tuesday morning, Lani arrived at work and saw a paper on the door. It said, "Cafe closed until further notice." Her heart dropped. She looked through the glass window. Everything inside was dark. No lights, no people, no sounds, just empty chairs and silence. The cafe owner came and said, "Sorry, Lani, we're losing money. I have to close. I don't know when we'll reopen." Then he walked away. Lani stood there alone, holding her umbrella. Her mind was quiet. No anger, no panic, just the deep sound of rain and a heavy heart. She walked home in silence. She sat at her table. She looked at her notebook. She didn't open it. She just stared at it. For 3 days, she stayed home. No speaking, no mirror, no notebook, no practice. She watched videos but didn't repeat. Her mouth stayed closed. She whispered, "What's the point? No job, no money, no clear future." Her dream of English felt far away, like something for stronger people. She remembered her sentence, "English is hard, but I am harder." But it didn't feel true anymore. She felt small again, afraid again. She cleaned her room, trying to feel better. She washed the dishes slowly. She looked in the mirror, but didn't speak. Just silence and tired eyes. Then, while folding her blanket, something fell to the floor. It was a paper. She picked it up. It was her first self-promise. The paper said, "I will speak English before I turn 30. Her handwriting was shaky, but the words were strong. They came from her heart. She sat down with the paper. She read it again. "I will speak English before I turn 30. She read it again and again. Then, something inside her whispered, "The promise didn't change. You just forgot it." And it's okay to forget. Just come back now. That evening, she made tea. She opened her notebook for the first time in days. She didn't write much, just one sentence. Try again, slowly. She looked in the mirror and said softly, "Hi, I'm Lani. I lost my job, but I didn't lose my dream. I'm still here." Tears filled her eyes, but her voice was clear. She added, "I will speak again. I will learn again, even if it's hard." The next morning, she returned to her mirror routine. Her voice was small but steady. She said 5 sentences, then 6, then 10. She picked her easiest video and repeated one line, then 2. Then she smiled and whispered, "Hello again. English. Did you miss me?" She decided to restart her habits, but slowly. No pressure. Just 20 minutes a day. A little speaking, a little listening, a little writing. Each small action felt like light in the dark. One line of English, one deep breath, one moment of courage. That was enough for now. She also added something new: gratitude sentences. Every day, she said 3 things in English she was thankful for. I am thankful for tea. I am thankful for my voice. I am thankful for second chances. These were small things, but they made her feel warm, not lost. She created a new page in her notebook. She titled it English on Sad Days. She filled it with kind words, short reminders, soft truth. She wrote, "You don't have to be strong all the time. Small steps still count. One word is better than none. Come back tomorrow." These became her new teachers. Not just grammar, not just vocabulary, but mindset. She learned that learning English was not just learning a language. It was learning to stay, to return, to start again, even when the heart feels tired, even when the world feels cold. One Sunday, she went for a walk. She passed the old cafe, still closed, but she didn't feel broken anymore. She felt quiet, but steady. She sat in the park and spoke to herself. This tree is big. The sky is blue. I feel calm. I am still learning. An old woman sat nearby. She looked at Lani and smiled. "Are you practicing English?" Lani nodded. The woman said, "Good. Never stop." Lani smiled. "I won't." Then she looked at the sky and whispered, "Thank you." She didn't know who she thanked, maybe herself, maybe life. That night, she read an English poem online. It said, "The flower returns after winter. The sun always comes back. So will you." She cried softly. She copied the poem into her notebook and added one line: "I am not finished. I am just beginning again." She underlined it twice. Weeks passed. Then months. Lani kept learning. Not perfectly, not quickly, but with love, with effort, and with more peace than before. She didn't go back to the cafe. She started helping her neighbor sell fruit in the market. It was simple work, but she liked it. Every morning, she greeted people in English. "Hello, how are you?" Some answered, some didn't. But she didn't feel scared anymore. She felt free. She used her notebook during lunch breaks. She created lessons for herself. She wrote about customers, about fruit, about people. Her market became her classroom. One afternoon, a tourist couple came. They asked about local food. Lani helped them in English. She smiled. They laughed. They talked for 10 minutes. When they left, the woman said, "Your English is beautiful." Lani didn't know what to say. She just smiled and said, "Thank you. I practiced." That night, she opened her notebook and cried. Not from pain, but from joy. Her sentences had become real. Her effort had become her voice. She turned to the last page and wrote, I am no longer afraid. I speak, I learn, I grow. This is my journey. Then she wrote 5 lessons she had learned, simple English lessons, but also life lessons. She called it My English Truth. Lesson 1. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to begin. Lesson 2. Talk to yourself kindly. You are both teacher and student. Lesson 3. Small steps every day become big change in time. Lesson 4. When you feel lost, return to your why. Lesson 5. Your voice matters. Speak, even if it shakes. She read the list again. Then again. She closed her notebook and held it to her chest. Her eyes were soft. Her heart felt full. The next morning, she recorded her first video, just her phone, just her voice. Hi, I'm Lani. I started speaking English 1 year ago. She continued. I was afraid. I didn't believe in myself. But I tried. I spoke to myself. I used my voice. And now I smile. She uploaded the video to YouTube with the title My English Journey. 1 year later, she didn't expect much. She just wanted to share. 2 days later, someone commented, Thank you. I'm scared to speak. But now, I will try too. Lani smiled and whispered, Yes. This is why she began sharing more, her story, her tips, her mistakes, her growth. People watched. People thanked her. But most of all, people started trying. She became someone she once needed. Not a teacher, not a star, but a friend who says, I was scared too. You can still begin. Lani looked at the camera one day and said, If you feel like giving up, I understand. But listen, this is your turn. Start today. She paused, then said again, slowly, clearly, This is your turn. Start today. And she smiled, because this time, she meant every word.